Nutmeg grows on a tiny group of islands in the far east of Indonesia called the Bandas. There's only about 5 or 6 little islands where this tree grew.
Meet Jan Peterzoon Cohen, accountant, spice trader, and oh yeah, killer.
So I'm Jan Peterson Cohen, and I want to be in complete control of the nutmeg. And so my method is basically a scorched earth policy.
But why would anyone scorch earth over nutmeg? Well, nutmeg is thought to ward off plague, and plague was a feature, not an option, of the 16th century. So people want nutmeg. There's just one problem.
It required ships, it required men, it required sending products to the east so that you could do the trading. All of this required a huge amount of money that no individual could have afforded.
So the Dutch invent a little something called modern capitalism.
They create a private company, the Dutch East India Company.
And it is a stockholder-funded corporation.
And the beauty of this was that it spread the risk.
All sorts of people would buy stocks, so it wasn't just something that the elite bought into.
Well-heeled Dutch citizens could invest in the East India Company. More investors means the risk is shared among more people, which makes that risk easier to take on.
UMDAR. It's genius, absolute genius. Once you begin to develop trade routes, you start to develop trading relationships. You started having stock markets, you have to start setting prices. You have to have a consumer who you've sold to. The beginnings of all of the structures we see in capitalism now.
Our quest for flavor requires a wholly new economic model, one that will fundamentally redefine human relationships. And remember our friend, Jan Peterzoon Cohen?
He will go out to the Banda Islands and he will take one look around and say, this is a pretty inefficient operation. The Dutch East India Company will say, will you go back and make it better?
Cohen's version of better is pretty terrifying. When Banda Islanders begin selling to his British competitors, he gives new meaning to the term cutthroat capitalism.
They were subjected to one of the most severe colonial regimes you can imagine.
He essentially wipes out the entire pie, thousands and thousands of people. And it works. The Dutch do get a monopoly on nutmeg.
The only problem they had was that one of the Nutmeg Islands was a teeny little slice of land called Roon, but it was owned by the British. So the Dutch and the British actually went to war over Roon. And the treaty that ended the war gave Roon and its nutmeg to the Dutch.
Part of that agreement was that a small island called New Amsterdam was going to be given to the British, and it was renamed New York.
Nutmeg made Manhattan.